All right, YouTube. So, different day, and I wanted to show you. So today we got a couple things going on. So this is the Dicom. This is what Dicom looks like. You get it in that container right there. You don't need a whole lot. Layout bluing, great stuff. You get it on Amazon or wherever. And it allows you to draw very precise, very thin lines. And so this is a 1 inch, an inch and a half. That line right there, and then that is the inch and 21/32 line right there. So, and that, see how that, if you saw my other videos, this gives you an idea of the precision that you can draw with these lines. And so I just wanted to share that with you. We got a lot going on today in the shop, so I know we had the other brackets, and you're like, stop on the brackets. But hey, I want to make this, I want to show you guys how to do this right instead of doing it freehand, make your life a little bit easier than the way that I did it. So get yourself some Dicom. I also use this compass, which has a little edge, which allows you to run this along the edge and then draw your lines. Really nice, also a nice tool to have in your tool bag here. So let me get this set up on the saw, and I will tell you this, I'm going to try that guy, Porter Cable. That is a chop saw, metal chop saw. So I got that as well, so I'll get that set up. And then I should be able to get, not should, but I will be able to get this angle. I'm gonna go a little bit fat on this. It's all right if this is a little bit wider than normal, but I'm gonna get this done, get this angle cut, and then what I'll do is I'll cut two of them. If I get the angle set right, I'll go ahead and cut both angles, and then I'll cut it dimensionally this way. And so, but I'm gonna use this one as the first, kind of like the guinea pig. Once I get it done, do it, and then like I said, I'll put it in a chop saw and get it cut dimensionally from that point forward. So very easy. I just wanted to share this with you. This is a very easy way to do it if you have the tools. I figured I do a lot of metal cutting anyways, the old way with the grinders and stuff. So having that chop saw is something I've been wanting to have or you know, in the shop for a while. So it works out well for me. You know, something tells me you're building a metal airplane, you might want to have tools to help you build the metal airplane. So yep, I'm gonna get it worked in there, and then I will be back. There you go. I got the two pieces cut. And like I said, I got my angle down here on the system, and I'll tell you, I can't read that mark, but I'll put it in the thing to get the angle correct. And so then I cut my two pieces, and so now, all right, so I got my two pieces cut, and they are perfect. There's my mark right there. And so what I did is, instead of reset and cut, so I cut another one. And now what I'll do is I can just put this in there at 0 degree and cut right down it, and it will be perfect. But as you can see, my mark is right there. It's a little warm still, but I'll clean that out. But my mark's right there. That's 1.5 inches. So that is perfect. And so now all I have to do is run this through the bandsaw right here and then clean that front edge off. But like I said, so I got it both cut one, made sure it was right. Now what I'll do is set this back to 0, and I'll cut this side here, and then we should be good to go. And these parts will be dimensionally perfect per the plans. If you have a chop saw, like I said, this was about $100 at it's a Porter Cable, or Porter Cable from Amazon. I need one anyways, and I think if you're, like I said, if you're building a metal airplane, you'll probably need one as well. There's going to be more cutting. I see that in my future, so I highly recommend this. Now I will tell you, the blade or the disc that they send you is junk. So I ordered a different set of blades or cutters. These are the Porter Cables as well. Chop saw wheel. The one that they send you is not as aggressive. And so I got rid of, changed that out immediately. So that's what I would recommend. And so what we'll do is let these parts cool, and then we'll reset and get them cut at, you know, chop this off so it's perfect there. But there you go, another way of making those brackets, those spar brackets. All right, YouTube, so I got this one cut. Now don't do what I did, cut two at the same degrees. I forgot, one angles out this way and one angles out this way. So it's 5 degrees. I did the measurement. It's 5 degrees. So you have to go 5 degrees to this side, and then you swing it to the 5 degrees on the other side of 0 to get this. But it's 5 degrees. It will give you this angle that you need right here from here. So now let this cool down a little bit. It's a little warm still. I'll mark out my 1.5 inches, and then I'll, you know, slice right down the middle of that, and that will give me the part. And then of course I'm gonna leave these tabs on. It gives me some working space so I can work with the part, and then I will cut these off there at the very end, but I'm gonna leave them on. This is gonna be the last order of operation, because that, like I said, as I run this through the bandsaw, or you know, when I cut it, it's gonna give me some more working space instead of being so small. The other thing too is for the drill press, like I said, it just gives me a little bit more working space, and this edge is a little bit more refined, so I can do my calculations off of this edge versus trying to do it off a cut edge, which is, you know, it's, no matter how you cut it, you're always gonna have some imperfections because of the wobble. The only way to really get these pieces perfect is to, that's concerning. The only way to get these pieces actually perfect is to, see the gap there? I have to measure that. Is to run them on a CNC machine. You know, where you know, cutter. That's really it. I mean, but this is good enough. But let me. I don't want to use those words, good enough. I hate using those words and everything. That's a little concerning. The fact that there's a big gap right there. So let me take some measurements here and see what's going on with that. Here you go, YouTube. Here's another. This is what I love about building airplanes. Doing this, you have to think things out and stuff. So when I put this piece in to this fence, there wasn't enough to grab it. This thing pivots, so there wasn't enough. So I had to basically take a piece of my angle iron that I used to do my that I cut off, and I use this as my sacrificial for my bandsaw as well. So I had to get a band, and I put the 2 pieces in there, same distance, to allow that to clamp to it, and that's how I was able to do it. You probably, if you cut the parts too short, this is what you're going to run into. So you just have to create, you know, with some angle iron, and, you know, not angle iron, but, you know, I would use thin wall aluminum, because you don't want to have this piece cause a bind up or to slow the saw down any. It's already going to be pretty slow when you cut across this way. But just wanted to share that with you. Another one of those hurdles that you have to overcome. And if you made mistakes like I have made on this piece, which is frustrating as heck, but hey, that's part of building an airplane. You have to work through this. If you had to do that, if you run into this situation, just use some of your trailing edge material and use it to block the piece up and to hold it secure against the fence and everything. So, all right, back to cutting. All right, YouTube, perfect. This is exactly what, you know, after many attempts at this, I finally got it to where now, hopefully I can just drill my holes in correctly. So I got the angle that I want. I deburred everything, cleaned it up on the buffer there, and so now I'll mark my holes. But see how these foots, they come out perfect. It's supposed to be 1.656. If you measure at the 1 inch mark out, it's 1.700. So it is on both of them. They both came out the exact distance. So 6.5. So it is roughly that much wider, which is good. Wide is good. So it's a little bit wider at the edge, because the whole purpose of doing this is to give yourself enough meat when you drill this bolt that goes in here and here, that your that bolt hole, when drilled properly, is not too close to the edge. That's why they have you dog leg these out or flute these out, is to give that bolt that sits on these far edges a little bit more material there. And that was the reason why I didn't like the ones that I did before, is because these were good, but they were wavy. And the same thing with the rivet. Let me kind of show you these parts. These are the ones I did before and everything. And see here, I don't know if you can see it. I was a little concerned at the placement of that rivet to the edge. Typically you take the diameter of the rivet shank and you go it's got to be at least 1.5 times, if not more, material. So 1.5 times the rivet shank. So take that hole and double it, and you can see you're getting pretty close to that edge right there. So I wasn't happy, even though I freehand cut these, I wasn't happy in the placement of the holes. This is fine. You know, this is, like I said, this is what you're going for, where you're giving yourself more meat. That's the whole purpose. But I wasn't happy with that, even though they look good, you know, with the foot and how they go out and everything. They just weren't, to me, I don't think they were up to spec. So that's why I chose to redo it, made the investment in the right tools to help me get the job done, because I, for the life of me, can't cut a straight line. That's why I have tools that do that for me. I don't know what it is. There's like certain words that I can't say because I just can't say them. But I will tell you, I can't cut a straight line, so I got the tools to help me do that and everything. So like I said, I'm going to leave these foot because this will help me move the part and get, you know, to work with the part. I'll cut the foot off so it gets down to the 1 inch mark here. The very last, that'll be the very last operation I do before I get these shot up on there. But I just wanted to share that with you. I am very happy so far, very happy with the angle. Who knows, I could screw up the holes. You know, I've been known to do that, i.e. that right there. So there you go. There you go, YouTube. New brackets made. I will have to say I'm very happy with these. I was happy with these, but I'm really happy with these. They are dimensionally spot on. I mean, spot on. Everything is aligned correctly, and the holes are where I like them and where they should be. So I'm very, very, very happy with these. And these are, I am done with the horizontal spar attachment brackets. I am definitely done with these. Well, I'm not, I don't want to jinx myself. I have to go get some angle iron to get, because the instructions are is that you got to mount these and make sure that they're parallel to each other. So you need something that's flat and that's oh my gosh, excuse me, something that's flat and something that's rigid enough, you know, to hold these parallel. Because what we have to do now is I have to cleco these into the spar, which is up there. See the clecos, that's why those clecos are still on there to tell me I got work to do. I've got to cleco those on, make sure they're perpendicular, perfectly perpendicular, square with each other. When I do that, and I'll show what that looks like. Let me see if right there, I'll show that in the instructions. And so I got to go to a box store. I got to take some things back. Haven't been in the shop that much this week. I've been having to work on cabinets. We had a little delay in our countertops. So I had to build some fake countertops and everything because Mama ain't happy when she has to wash dishes in the tub. So I had to take care of that for Miss Sandy. So we got all that done. And that way, another saga. I should have done a whole video on cabinet, but there's enough of those shows. Got some cool things in the mail. I'll show you what these are. So this is the marker. I don't know what they call this exactly, but I have, if you look at the top spar, and we'll talk about that, there's some nuts that need to be torqued down to 25 foot-pounds. And the rule of thumb is that once you torque them to indicate that they're torqued, you put this on there. It basically is like a wax that goes across those that nut head, and that tells you that they've been torqued and they're down the spec. If you see a nut that's not been torqued, obviously it's got to be wire tied or crown or whatever. But if it's not wire tied, then you use this. It's not a thread lock. This is just an indicator. And what happens is if that nut backs itself off, it breaks that red mark off, and it will indicate to you that you got a nut that's backing itself out. So I got that in the mail. I did get some new wire, safety wire. I needed this anyways because I do boats. I actually make my own stainless steel. This is a tool that you use to do that. Maybe I'll show you guys how to use this tool. But it's better than using the stainless steel. A lot of guys, in boats and stuff, I don't have one, but what I'm talking about, the mechanical and everything. I just don't like those. I don't, they work themselves loose. Actually, anywhere where I put a stainless steel bracket, I always use two. Just because I don't trust them. Where this here, I can put this on a hose and it ain't coming off. And I've proven that time and time again. So I've got some more safety wire to get that stuff done, different sizes. So I'll show you guys how to do that, how to make hoses up. There's a really cool video as well. So with that will conclude this